I want to thank Congressman Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler for insisting that Robert Mueller testify about his report and that he do so publicly, because it was the best thing that I've seen all year.
You could not publicly state that in your report or here today?
Can you repeat the question, sir? You're going to have to repeat that for me. Can you repeat the last part of that question?
Meaning you don't have any wiggle room, right?
I'd have to look more closely at the statute.
I just read it to you.
Then could you repeat it?
Okay.
What was the question?
Pardon?
Can you read the last question?
The last question was,
I want to make certain I got it accurate. I apologize.
Sure.
Can you start it again?
Okay, sure.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one?
There was no way that the media could even spin this to try to make the Democrats look good, and they all pretty much admitted that President Trump was victorious, and there's no chance of him being impeached.
Let's not kid ourselves. This has been a wall-to-wall failure in all these committees.
Do you see this as a wall-to-wall failure?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree with everything that you're saying.
You know, you look who's winning now. It certainly seems like Donald Trump is winning between the two.
Impeachment's over. They needed more fuel for any kind of impeachment effort.
So look, on optics, this was a disaster.
A lot of Democrats in particular used the D word and branded this a disaster.
They needed either the storytelling from Robert Mueller, the emotional impact. They needed something to take them over that hump, to get people who were reluctant on impeachment to say, you know what? It's time. And I don't think that they had that. I don't think that they got that today. And if you want to view it from the macro perspective of impeachment, that's a failure.
White House officials and the president's Republican allies are walking away from this morning's hearing and viewing it as a success. They walked into this not knowing what exactly was going to happen. They had this fear that Democrats were going to be able to get these effective sound bites of Robert Mueller bringing his report to life. But instead, you saw the former special counsel there even hesitant to utter the word impeachment. And that's what they were watching here. Is this hearing going to move the needle on impeachment at all? And so far, the people we've been speaking with have said no, they do not think that is the case.
There is another reality out there. This is the reality of the president's fans. And they deal in memes, and they deal in edited videos. And I think that they're going to be used against Mueller to try to undercut him, to try to discredit him.
They already are.
They already are.
Poor Jake Tapper's concerned about the memes and the YouTube videos, but I guess I would be too if I worked for $1 billion television network and a guy on a laptop in his kitchen was getting a third of the views. There was one point when the Democrats got their hopes up after a question by California Congressman Ted Lieu.
At one point, Mueller signaled the only reason Trump wasn't indicted is because he's a sitting president.
I'd like to ask you, the reason again that you did not indict Donald Trump is because of OLC opinion stating that you cannot indict a sitting president, correct?
That is correct.
They thought they got President Trump right where they want him, but it turns out Robert Mueller misspoke, and as soon as he started the second half of his testimony, he corrected himself.
Now, before we go to questions, I want to add one correction to my testimony this morning. I want to go back to one thing that was said this morning by Mr. Lieu, who said, and I quote, "You didn't charge the president because of the OLC opinion." That is not the correct way to say it. As we say in the report, and as I said at the opening, we did not reach a determination as to whether the president committed a crime. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to answer questions.
Whoops, better luck next time. Republican Congressman Chris Stewart raised an important question about how CNN knew that Roger Stone was going to get paid a little visit at 4 o'clock in the morning and how they had their cameras set up right across the street outside of his house.
Are you aware of anyone providing information to the media regarding the raid on Roger Stone's home, including CNN?
I'm not going to speak to that.
Okay.
He just doesn't want to speak to that, although the answer is a simple yes or no, but he doesn't want to admit that his office leaked that to CNN.
You must have realized that leaks were coming from someone associated with the special counsel's office. What I'd like to ask is,
I do not believe that.
Well, sir, this was your work. You're the only one, your office is the only one who had information regarding this. It had to come from your office.
He was asked the same question a second time, and again, he declined to answer.
This is exclusive CNN video. This is what happened this morning before sunrise when Roger Stone, longtime Trump associate and advisor was taken into custody by the FBI. There's a moment of audio on here that I want to play for everyone because this is what the first sounds that Roger Stone woke up to this morning was the FBI pounding on his door and shouting this. I want to just play this for a moment.
FBI, open the door. The only straw that the Democrats were able to grasp onto was that Robert Mueller claimed that he was not able to exonerate President Trump. But thankfully, there were some Republicans in attendance who were able to clarify exactly what that means.
To the Washington Post yesterday, when speaking of your report, the article said Trump could not be exonerated of trying to obstruct the investigation itself. Trump could not be exonerated. Now, that statement is correct, Mr. Mueller, isn't it? In that no one can be exonerated. The reporter wrote this. This reporter can't be exonerated. Mr. Mueller, you can't be exonerated. In fact, in our criminal justice system, there is no power or authority to exonerate. Now, this is my concern, Mr. Mueller. This is the headline on all of the news channels while you were testifying today. Mueller, Trump was not exonerated. Now, Mr. Mueller, what you know is that this can't say Mueller exonerated Trump, because you don't have the power or authority to exonerate Trump. You have no more power to declare him exonerated than you have the power to declare him Anderson Cooper. So the problem that I have here is that since there's no one in the criminal justice system that has that power, the president pardons, he doesn't exonerate. Courts and juries don't declare innocent, they declare not guilty. They don't even declare exoneration. The statement about exoneration is misleading, and it's meaningless, and it colors this investigation one word out of the entire portion of your report, and it's a meaningless word that has no legal meaning, and it has colored your entire report.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
Can you give me an example other than Donald Trump where the Justice Department determined that an investigated person was not exonerated because their innocence was not conclusively determined?
I cannot, but this is a unique situation.
Okay, well, you can't. Time is short. I've got 5 minutes. Let's just leave it at you can't find it because I'll tell you why. It doesn't exist. The special counsel's job, nowhere does it say that you were to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or that the special counsel report should determine whether or not to exonerate him. It's not in any of the documents. It's not in your appointment order. It's not in the special counsel regulations. It's not in the OLC opinions. It's not in the Justice Manual. And it's not in the principles of federal prosecution. Nowhere do those words appear together because respectfully, Director, it was not the special counsel's job to conclusively determine Donald Trump's innocence or to exonerate him, because the bedrock principle of our justice system is a presumption of innocence. It exists for everyone. Everyone is entitled to it, including sitting presidents. And because there is a presumption of innocence, prosecutors never, ever need to conclusively determine it.
Well, I'm sure the Democrats in Congress are ready to admit defeat and finally move on. Right, Eric Swalwell?
Where do we go from here, Congressman?
I think success is that the American people will view this as Volume 1, or I'm sorry, that the American people will view this as Act 1, not Act 3. And as they heard names today like Manafort and Kalimnik and Gates, they will want to know, well, let's hear more about that, and that those witnesses will start to come forward. I think we should have an impeachment inquiry, and those are the next witnesses we need to hear from.
Well, silly me, I guess I should have known. Things went so well for us that President Trump took to Twitter to say, quote, "I would like to thank the Democrats for holding this morning's hearing." He later tweeted in all caps, "Truth is a force of nature." Yes, it is, sir, and so are you, and I can see you getting stronger every day. So to commemorate this incredible occasion, I'm releasing my new and improved Trump is Getting Stronger shirt. Order yours from my online store at markdice.com or click the link in the description below. And there's just 3 days left to get your order in for my limited edition Trump Silver Silhouette shirt, which is printing soon. It's a special silver reflective foil paint, so you got to get your orders in by Sunday, and then they'll be printed and shipped out. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.